much other stuff we deal with that we're reacting to essentially that we don't even realize that.
Stress, like, it puts you in fight or flight response. And when you are in fight and flight and not centered, you don't have access to creativity.
Right.
You don't have access to problem solving skills. It was a series of events that I have not had a moment to actually pause and just self-reflect to see what state, where am I,
And it was affecting you.
Yeah, it was affecting me. You got to be your highest self, and you got to take those moments.
Okay. So steps to being your higher self. Step number 1 is
Bro, man,
are we starting like now? Is that what we're doing?
I guess so. We guess we starting, man. How do you feel about this setting?
I like it.
Like it?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, man, we decided to do something different for y'all. Man, where do I start? First of all, I just need to chill out because it took me like 3 hours to set this up.
You pace yourself, man. Pace yourself. Like I say, patience is a virtue.
Man, what? Do scripture actually say that?
I don't know.
We heard it a lot. I never found that in the Bible though.
Yeah, I was
What's that? Go ahead. What'd you say?
when I was a girl I used to date, she told me patience was a virtue. That's all.
I used to say it too, but I think I heard it somewhere. I know it says that faith worketh patience. Let patience have a perfect work.
Oh yeah, that's in the Bible.
Yeah, so you should be wanting nothing. Speaking of patience, man, we got something we want to talk to you guys about today, and that's pause, bruh, pause. Pause. We say that all the time now, but I think the meaning that we want to talk about today, it got a lot to do with patience. You know what I mean? But first of all, we've been doing this rebranding, retargeting. Come to find out, we ain't targeting correctly. So we decided that we want to talk to our people, millennials.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We faith-based millennial leaders, whether you're CEO, executive like my guy here, business entrepreneur like myself, minister like myself. We want to talk to y'all, man, because it's our time. But throughout the process of us talking to our fellow millennials, we want to talk about evolving, as leaders and as individuals, because we are, you know how they say, we are the face of the future. I think we're getting a little too old for that. It's our time to lead the future generation.
Oh dang, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we at one point it was all about us. All you heard was millennials. Now it's all about Gen Z. Gen Z is like the baby brother that everybody likes now and want to talk about.
Yeah.
But anyway, you got something, bro? I'm over here.
No, you good. You good. I'm just driving or riding to the beat of your drum.
Oh, really?
Right now, anyways.
Okay. Okay.
So
what you got on patience, man? How you feel about pausing and? Because I got a whole story, but I don't want to be over here rambling and junk.
No, I mean, I think when it comes to patience, it's like we said, patience is a virtue.
Yeah.
When I had this ex-girlfriend that told me that, and when she first said, I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like patience, I didn't know what a virtue was.
Yeah.
I was in college and I was like, I don't know what that means for real.
Right.
I think the older I get, I realize that, what the Bible say, like, be anxious of nothing.
Right.
And really just, pacing yourself and like, it's gonna work out.
That's
like
true.
it has no choice but to work out. And I, what I think, I got on patience and pausing, understanding that when it works out, because it will work out.
Yeah, for
when
sure.
It works out,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be because I did something.
You about to preach to us?
No. I'm just telling you what I've learned in my life. It's just allowing things to, or be okay with things happening, because it's all connected. That's how it manifests, right?
Yeah.
Connected.
Yeah.
So it's gonna work itself out. You just have to trust God
No, for sure.
and be at peace with.
Gotta trust
everything
God,
going on.
man. Bro, I like being this close to you, man. Pause. But hey, it feels so, you know what I mean? Usually we across the, the desk, and
Yeah.
lately I've been like way over there, you way over here, man. It's real cool. I like the vibe of that. But no, it makes sense.
Got your little leg crossed. Look at you, man. It's just
Yeah, man, I'm doing. Now I gotta actually put effort into how I dress. Not saying I did any better today, but I'm just saying, like, we trying to do something new, man. But nah, you hit the nail on the head, bro. Like, I get it. Faith is not faith, but patience is a virtue, and man, I'm just learning a lot, about pausing and being still. We've been taught for so long. Millennials, or maybe some millennials out there haven't been taught this, but we've been taught to, especially men, to like keep pushing. I had this strong idea that whatever you face in life, just roll with the punches, and to some degree, it's true.
right.
However, I had a therapy session last week. Y'all know how I talk about my therapy session. We're gonna get home, by the way, man. I've been asking her for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I think I'm wearing on a little bit. But I had a therapy session, man. I didn't realize how important pausing, in your life was, because I've been taught to, just go through the storm.
Yeah.
And it started like this. I'm you know how you give the end result and then you back up. So I'm gonna try to do that. So
Yeah, I'm curious to know, like, what leads us to this conversation today, because
yeah, we didn't really talk about it though,
we
right?
ain't talk about it at all.
Yeah, okay. So
we just
just here, man. So in a therapy session, like my wife and I, I'm gonna let y'all in a little bit. She gonna be like, "Why you telling all our business?" But hey, we had a little disagreement, right?
yeah. That's
but
all married couples do, right?
yeah. But the disagreement didn't hit hard for me because I forgot about the disagreement.
Yeah.
But somehow she like to tell on me in therapy. I be telling her, hey man, don't wait till we get to Latanya, anyway. But it wasn't that case at all. It was just like because how she usually start off is like, what's on your mind? That therapy session. Like, where do y'all want to start? Where y'all want to go? Or whatever. We was like, yeah, everything's good, such and such. We were just really trying to think. And then my wife was like, yeah, we had a few disagreements last weekend. I was like,
we did?
And I was like, oh, we sure did. And then she brought up the situations, and I didn't know that, it affected my wife in a way. And not only the situation, but my responses, Again, bear with me, the story, with the story. Because I've been taught roll with the punches. I didn't realize that I was short with her, and I'm like, is that okay? Let's get past this and keep moving. That type of thing. And I was wondering why at the beginning of that week I was so stressed. Well, come to find out, once we got into talking about this in therapy,
Yeah.
I said, yo, I didn't realize I've been through so much last week. Yo, I got hit with bad news like like more than a third of the whole week.
Really?
Yeah, the week before. And I never dealt with it. I just kept rolling with the punches. You know what I mean? Like, and so when we get to the following week in the therapy session, I paused and I'm like, we did have a few disagreements, but so now I'm doing this self-reflection. I'm like, why did we have so many disagreements back out the back? And I realized, I'm like, oh man, like I never dealt with this emotion. I never dealt with that emotion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had a few. One is I told you I had a offer from a gig, right?
Right.
Man. And the paper that, they was talking about paying, I was like, that's nice, yo. Like, come to find out it was a scam.
Hey.
And I was like, like that, it hurt my feelings a little bit. I was a little disappointed. But again, as men, we're taught to roll with the punches, keep going. So,
but ain't that healthy though?
what was that?
to like keep going and like roll with the punches? Like
it is if you deal with your emotions, if you face them, if you manage it. But not like live it and complain. Me and Brandon was talking last night. Not you owning your emotions, not letting it own you. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we can roll with the punches, but there's an underlying issue that we haven't dealt with, causes us to react or respond a certain way. Mm-hmm. And I think I was doing that, but I felt like I was all right. Let me keep moving. So something else happened. I forgot what it was. Well, I ain't gonna say that part because that's a little personal. But it had me a little concerned that the next news that I got, it had me a little concerned, for my son or whatnot. And when you talking about your kid, like that's like, your spouse is one thing, but your kid too.
Yeah.
Like that's your baby. Like
I think my wife is more important than my kids.
I'm not saying my wife is not more important, but I'm more protective over my baby.
Really?
Yeah. Not in the sense that I'm more protective over my wife, but like
defend itself, I guess.
Yeah, your baby can't defend. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's 2, so it's like, and I'm learning that I'm vulnerable there. You know what I mean? Like I had after our therapy session, I realized I was like, man, why did I feel a way about that? Like can't tell y'all what that is, but I had to figure out like, oh, okay, I'm now learning I can't protect him from everything. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'm a new father, so I'm just learning that. You probably knew that.
Yeah.
But that was my realization that you ain't gonna be you ain't gonna be able to protect him from everything.
Mm-hmm. I think and not to change the
go for it.
But
yeah,
I think as a father, you have to. And this is my take on it, right? You have to expose them safely to stuff,
right?
Because you can't protect them from everything. So if you can expose, I was talking to my friend last night, and he was, he has his son just turned, he about to turn 12, and it's like, he's having conversations just about like girls and that talk, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, his son like, what, Dad, you know about that? Like, what you know about that, Dad? Like, of course, son, like, right. but just think about if he didn't have that conversation right then, right? What his son could have learned, right, from the streets, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it is important. Mm-hmm. It's important to know that you can't protect them from everything, and as much as you can, expose them to things so that way it's a safe environment for them to fall in.
Right. You kind of
learn from it.
Right. You show them how to. I actually had this conversation with somebody. Shout out to Sharon, and I was like, I don't raise my son in fear. Even he's 2. Mm-hmm. I said the best thing I could give him is wisdom. He can learn how to maneuver. Mm-hmm. But I guess right after I said that, I was tested. But I mean, with those news, it's not like certain things I can expose them to, but certain things like dang, like anyway, man. But I think that part was a test, and it just got the best of me. And then we had an issue with our toilet the next day, and it was that whole week. So it was a series of events that I have not had a moment to actually pause and just self-reflect to see what state, where am I,
And it was affecting you.
Yeah, it was affecting me, not knowing that it was affecting, because I was just, all right, let me keep going. Because I'm so hopeful that I'm looking for the next best thing without dealing with what happened to me last. So, man, I'm in the session, man, she was like, and when she do that, like when LaTanya do that, it just makes me feel like, oh, she understands it. Like she's like, oh no, and she and she be so genuine. When I was like, oh man, that feels good to know that I'm expected to be human. So, but I
wonder how much other stuff we deal with that we're reacting to essentially that we don't even realize that it's out of just trying to get through it.
Yeah, bro. That's probably me. Actually, man, it's probably a lot of us, bro. Like, but what?
I didn't even think about it. I just didn't think about it. Like,
Yeah, but that one little piece, and then she went into this thing, man, where I really want to get her on to talk about this, but she was talking about stress, and she was saying that when you're stressed, it releases cortisol. What is that? What that chemical? And she was like, it puts you in fight or flight response. And I was like, dang, so I was in fight or flight the whole time?
yeah.
You feel me? And she was like, yeah. She was like, when you are in fight and flight and not centered, that's what we was talking about earlier. When you're not centered, you're not your best self. She was like, because you don't have, she explained it as to, you know how your phone go on to power saving mode? And it shuts off everything it don't need, and it becomes damn just to stay alive. That's what fight or flight mode is.
That's a good example. That's a good little analogy right there.
Yeah, it put that survival mode though.
Yeah,
and that's what she said, that you're trying to survive, you know. And I thought about, you know, our community, you know, the Black community, and a lot of people in it are just for real in survival mode, you know, because of the stress and not managing it well. Either we turn to substance, or my case, just keep moving, you know what I mean, being hopeful, but we're not really dealing with, you know, ourselves, because we're not pausing, we're not taking a break. And she said that when you're under the stress, what happened is that you don't have access to creativity.
right.
You don't have access to problem solving skills. Like, you just don't have access to those things. You're not.
How did you know though? How did you know that like you were on power saving mode?
I didn't know until I paused and sat. I'm like, yo, like, how am I feeling? And it was right there in the session. I'm like, dang, I think what would help is self-reflection, but I think it starts with curiosity too, like around all of your situations. You feel me? Like, why am I always going through this? And I know I've been asking myself that, but I didn't have the tools. Now, therapy is one of my tools. You know, I know everybody, you know, therapy ain't for everybody, but therapy helps me with that. It gives me a tool. I'm like, yo, why am I dealing with, I'm in fight or flight. You feel me? So I think that accountability, you got to have some type of accountability, because most of the times you ain't gonna know. You probably be blinded to it. So that's why you got to put yourself in a situation where you have people that's gonna hold you accountable. And, you know, therapy is those tools that they give you tools that you can use or whatever. But my therapist, she's not just a therapist. I tell her this all the, she's gifted, bro.
Yeah.
So
Touched by angels.
Yeah, man, she's gifted. So, you know, like, that's just, and she know sometimes I'm scared to go to her, bro, because she know how to get me. And she's not mean or nothing. She just stay on something that I'm uncomfortable on. She just stay there and push and push and push. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah. You know, that's something I'm trying to get better at. Because I don't, like, if I know it's going to make somebody uncomfortable, sometimes I'll just, like, I won't push and make them reflect and make them pause, think about how that didn't make no sense, or think about a decision they made. But, you know, my boss is really good at that, right? Like, like, she's like, no, like, make it, like she gonna sit there until you really, like, even though you know it wasn't necessarily the right thing, or it didn't whatever, but there's benefits in, like, making you sit in it for a little bit so you can learn from it.
Right. Now, do you have the tools?
I think, yeah, eventually you get
give them the tools.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you have to, because again, they know what they should have done differently, right? Like it's clear on what should have happened, right?
Right.
Not, it's, you know, it's clear, but let me allow you to sit in who you were at this time that made this decision.
Right.
Let me let you sit in that for a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can understand, like, fully and truly understand why that is not going to happen again.
Right. Right. She call it Latanya. That's our therapist's name. So y'all know. She said let's watch the replay. Because we like sports analogy.
Yeah.
Let's watch the replay. Let's learn from it.
Still that.
Let's watch film. That's what she called it. Let's just watch film. Let's go back and let's tell, because you can't. So when you're in that emotional state, it's hard to watch it. But when you're good and you're pretty balanced, it's always good to go back and watch. All right, what could I have done differently? What state was I in? That way you know how to maneuver when that situation comes up again. See, that's the beauty of just pausing and just being centered and self-reflecting. You can look at those things that you've been through and kind of pivot. Journal, you know what I mean? Write the things you did wrong. In our case, be more to do more. Write the things you did right. What am I doing right? Journal. You know what I mean? Like, and then that way, when that situation comes up again, now you have the tools that you can have access to be better. So, yeah, man, that's my pause, my being centered, man. Whatnot.
Story.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering, like, how many of our people are like just living in a state of not, and I think the question is, are they so familiar with this state that they don't want to get help or, want to get held accountable for it? That's kind of like my question.
Yeah. I wonder if I'm in that state constantly. I am one of those, I'm like, something happened, cool, let's keep it moving, because ain't nothing you can do about the past.
Right.
Nothing you can do about it.
Right.
All thing we can do is move forward.
Learn from it.
But I guess, I'm a very practical guy, right? And I want to make sure that we have steps on being able to deal with it and become more centered, become more or being able to pause. So, like, what would you say is the first thing that we need to do to be able to pause and center ourselves to recognize if we're going through, to recognize if we're in survival mode?
So if you're in the state and you don't have tools and you know something is wrong, is that what we're saying? What's the first step?
Well, you don't even know if some, like, you just like, I'm watching this pod right now, or I'm listening to you right now, right? Like, because I don't sit and pause a lot, and I don't sit and stew on. That was one of the words from Taboo. Stew. I don't sit there and just like let it essentially affect me.
Right.
I guess that's a good way of saying it. But how do I know that it's not affecting me? Like, what's the best way I can figure out? Is this stuff really affecting me and how I communicate with others, or am I good?
Well, I think
it's almost like getting it's gonna sound crazy. It's almost like getting like a test. You get the test, be like, okay, dang,
I'm straight.
Let me go get this test and make sure I'm straight. So it's like
never mind.
Yeah, you just don't.
I was about to go rated R.
Oh no, just don't know if you clean or not. Right?
Yeah, right.
So let's So what is the test to make sure that we're clean?
All right. Well, there's gonna be some symptoms.
Yeah. Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And if you're not comfortable with those symptoms, because there's gonna be some symptoms that make you uncomfortable. I mean, if we oh, this would be more to do more. I shouldn't say that, but if you feel like you got an STD, what are the symptoms? You feel me?
Real, yeah.
Like, there's going to be some symptoms in your life, and it may be external. It may be your spouse, maybe your working environment, or maybe, I don't know, there's going to be some symptoms that are communicating with you that, hey, there's a problem here. And most of the time what we do, though, is we don't go within. We tend to place blame. Not saying you do this, but
Oh, you are saying I'm doing it. Keep going though.
huh? I'm not saying you. I really never heard you blame nobody though.
I don't blame. Well,
You don't.
Yeah.
You always say I could have. Even the times I would want you to blame somebody, I really like, bro. Nah, that's their fault, bro. Like, nah, well, I could have did. Nah, man. But anyway, nah.
Okay, so if you're blaming somebody, that's a symptom.
Yeah,
Blaming somebody, looking at somebody else.
that's definitely because it's something that you're not trying to. You don't want somebody to touch. Like I was telling my therapist, like she would touch on something, she would poke, and I'm like, don't. But if you blaming somebody else, if somebody's constantly, there's gonna be symptoms, man. So you got to be aware of the symptoms. If you're watching this podcast, leaders, millennials, man, like it's time to be. If we're gonna evolve, it's time to be more self-aware. We have to be more self-aware, so that we can evolve and grow. But there are gonna be symptoms, and you just gotta be honest. It hurts, bro. Like sometimes I have to really sit and when you find out what it is, you ain't gonna be in the best of mood. Sometimes I find out the truth, man. I need a day. I journal, and I just need a day. My wife asks, "What's wrong with you?" I've been dealt with.
Okay, so essentially, so I guess step one is identifying like what's going on around you and how your relationships are around you.
Right.
Are you in peace and in balance in your relationships?
Right.
And if not, then step two,
self-reflect.
So just take a moment, whether that's 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever.
Right. Pause.
To pause and just like, write down? What about, what was it? Should we write down like all the things that
watch
have
film
experienced?
Yeah, watch the film.
Over the last week?
Watch the
or
film.
Last 3 days maybe?
Yeah.
I know I don't remember what happened last.
So because situations gonna tell you.
Yeah.
But watch the film, watch replay.
Okay.
That's why pausing is important, because you're self-reflecting by watching, or reviewing what you've been through, in the situations. Especially if you want to change. If you don't want to change, this ain't for you. You feel me? But if you want to change and you see that there's an area or a situation in your life, that's speaking negatively to you, you gotta self-reflect. You gotta watch the replay. Yeah.
Okay. And step 3 would be what?
Be truthful. Be honest.
Oh, be honest with yourself.
You got to.
Dang.
That's the hardest part.
Dang. So when you watch a film, you're like, dang, I did miss that block.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
Nobody saw it though.
Yeah.
Nobody saw it.
My feet were wasn't there yet. It wasn't
right.
Where it needed to be.
That's the easy part.
Out of position.
Nobody see it. And it's so easy to lie to yourself because nobody see it. Not real talk. Like ain't nobody saw that. But I mean, I serve a God who knows my heart. So I have to be honest with myself. Like, yeah, I was a little agitated. Now I'm getting to the point where when my wife and I communicate, I can say, babe, I'm a little agitated right now. Like, I can be real about that versus throwing it on her. Like, babe, I'm a little frustrated. I'm frustrated right now with this. Versus saying, hey, stop asking me stupid questions,
Yeah.
Like that's what it is.
Yeah. Then you know what though? Now I think about it, I have been doing that more recently though.
What was that?
I have been like more aware of, because normally I don't really have like a breaking point, but I've been doing more than I've done like in the past in a sense, or I'm doing different.
Right.
Like maybe it's more I'm doing different.
Right.
So it's like, so now that I'm doing different, I'm starting to kind of reach that capacity a little bit. And when I come home, like I almost don't want to talk, or I don't want to like, or like I don't want to hear her nagging. Like, so I just be like, hey, I'm kind of at that point now. Just like, what you need from me? Like,
right.
How can I help? Because I'm just, I don't need the constant.
Right.
Just do this, do that, do this, do that. Like I just tell me what I need to do. I'm gonna make sure I knock that out before I go to bed. Right. But I'm about to go relax. For a little second, or take a little nap or whatever it is.
Right. I mean, we've been told that LaTanya, man, she like, I'm telling you, man, she family.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, hey, y'all let each other know, hey, I need a second. Give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Or I need to, because my battery is on 10%. I tell you that I like, bro. My battery is like, and most of the time it be thought work that I be going through. Like I'm on 15 right now. I ain't gonna be too much. You can't add anything when you're not your best self.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I used to feel guilty because, you know, my wife and I, we both somewhat work from home. So we got, you know, our 2-year-old running around there. Sometimes, you know, he driving her nuts, you know, and sometimes I feel guilty about, you know, just going away. Like I think it was, the other day I told her, like, babe, I'm not in my best mental space right now. I need to go pause. I need to go get away for a second and get out the house, because sometimes the house reminds you of all the things you gotta do, need to do. So I'm like, I need to go and take a pause break. And, you know, and I went to the movies to go see that trash Captain America.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, bro. I didn't like it.
Good.
I don't know. I could be here for this, but, you know, I didn't like it at all.
With no leadership lessons in there, we can.
It was no. I think that was the point. It was a leadership movie all day, but it's the leadership movie that teaches a simple lesson. Like you don't need the serum, you don't need superpowers. You just need to be who you are. That's your superpower. That's pretty much the
yeah.
You know, like he did a lot with just who he is. Ooh, that's another. Anyway, but I didn't like it though. Anyway, I didn't like it. But I did take a pause break, man. But I felt guilty. Like I kept calling her. She was like, and she told me this. That's how I know Chrisanne is growing, bruh. She was like, babe, that's just your empathy. I'm good. Leave me alone, okay? You go figure you out. And I'm like, bet, you know. So she understand that I got to get away to go pause so I can come back to be the best self, because she can't get nothing from me when I ain't my best self.
Right.
You feel me? Like it's just not going to work. So yeah, man, that's did I answer your question?
No, yeah, I think it did. So, okay, so how to recognize how to, because what we're doing, are we being our best self right now? What we're doing? What's taking the pause? What are we taking the pause for?
We have to be our best self.
Is that the reason though? So
yeah,
our best self.
Yeah, because that you can't, and she called it higher self. You know what I mean? You can't evolve if you're not be more to do more. You got to be more to do more. If you're not being, you can't do. You got to be first. You got to be your highest self, you know, and you got to take those moments.
Okay. So steps to being your higher self. Step number 1 is you have to understand the symptoms when you're not being your highest.
I like your memory bank.
Right.
Yeah.
I got this back here. We're doing this for a long time.
Boy, thought leader out here. Go ahead.
But you have to be aware when you're not being your best self.
Right.
Right. Once you're aware and you recognize the symptoms, whether it's you're cranky, you're frustrated, your relationships are not strong.
Right.
Then you have to move on to step number 2. And you have to watch film.
Woo.
Right.
Like you give me chills.
So once you watch film, you play back your last 3 to 5 disagreement situations. Really be able to really learn exactly what happened,
right?
What played a role in those disagreements,
right?
And then step number 3 is you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be able to take that information and be able to, I guess, do something with it. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's when you go to God.
Oh, go to God.
That's another episode. His strength is made perfect in our weakness. We're gonna talk about being vulnerable. Yeah, that's gonna be one of the other episodes. But you got to take it in him, because he's the one who's gonna build you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then step 4 would be, now you have to be able to go back to your relationships, go back to the people that surround you, and ask for the grace, ask for what you need to be able to reset and get that moment of peace. No, I skipped a step. I skipped a step. I forgot the step where you. Well, I guess it's kind of like watching film and writing down.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
I love it, man. I love it.
So that's it. Those 4 steps to being your highest self.
See, everybody need them a Henry Harden Henry A. Harden III on their team, bro. I'm telling you, man, he'll make everything practical for you.
Yes, sir.
Sound like we should just write a book, or be want to do my book.
Good.
We got so many episodes, bro. You know anyway, I ain't gonna put that secret out there, that sauce, man. But that's all you got.
That's all I got.
Hey, man, y'all be sure. Hey, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. Hit the bell, man. Let's get this podcast out of here. Oh, what am I doing right? Journal. It's coming out. New look, fresh, new everything. Y'all get that journal. Link in the descriptions, and I think we out.
Yeah, we out, man. It's this has been an amazing conversation for millennial leaders.
Yeah.
That, want to live a faith-based or want to lead in a faith-based way.
Yeah, for sure.
So that way they can, go back and be able to empower and change the world in a positive way.
Yeah, man. We got to look out for our little brother.
Yeah.
Gen Z out there. Yeah. No more YNs. Anyway.
That's it. All right. Peace.
Stick and move, we can get it done. Call it unity, it ain't no way around it. Cultivating, we get motivation from the big guy. We don't play about him. Going hard for the game, showing love, won't tolerate.